we want to believe that we're good. I think that we want to have our own way. And we will justify that, well, that actually really is good.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Is it possible for everyone to have their own way at the same time?
No.
Really?
Really.
So nature is red in tooth and claw. You're saying that it comes down to it, it's man versus man, there's nothing you can do about it.
I say we have a fallen nature. I say the original plan, the original design, yes, we could all live in harmony and kumbaya,
Right.
which we all long for. There's a reason why we want to feel this way.
Yeah.
It's hardwired into our DNA, but because of the fall, we can't get there on our own. We just mess it up.
Right.
Because like I said, everything is good until, well, you can't steal. The stealing is wrong until I see something I really want and I don't really have the money to get it or the means to get it. And why should you have that? Then I start to justify, no, he's really a bad guy. So I'm really being a good guy by taking it from him. Because we want to believe we're good.
But I think that most people, it's like you said, like someone will steal because they can't afford it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the truth. I think that most people, once they already are on the same level playing field as the average person, they don't steal. I'm saying unless it's like, unless it's a corporate culture problem or something like that.
To say.
Yeah,
that wouldn't explain big corporations at all.
Well, I mean, no, there's all kinds of bad things that we do because they're accepted by our society.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying stealing within a society, because every society has different rules about what's considered stealing, what's considered taxes, what's considered all these things.
Okay, you can say that. Yeah.
So a person does have a point like, hey, why do they deserve it and I don't deserve it? I think that's a somewhat logical point. I think that the average person doesn't want to be less. Here's the thing. I think that nobody wants to be less than somebody else. But I think that we don't necessarily have to be more. We prefer to be on top. Everyone prefers to be king. But I think we'd be totally cool with the idea of every man a king. We're all kings. We're all fellow kings. How are you, fellow king?
Here's the problem with that. We're all fellow
Thanks
kings.
for your optimism. I'm glad
No, believe it or not, I'm very optimistic. My kids say that I'm not really from New York because I'm so nice to strangers and they're like, anyway, that's the whole thing. We might subscribe to that until you've got a car that's
Make it
much
interesting, buddy.
right. You've got a car that's much greater than mine. That's much nicer than my car. I don't like that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What about if we don't have the different quality cars?
But what about if my taste and your taste are different?
Taste is fine.
Yeah, but I don't really.
I prefer blue. You prefer green.
Once I feel like you're better, and the problem is, it's not that you are better.
Oh yeah.
It's that I feel that you're better.
Okay.
So now I must do something to make myself feel better, and 9 times out of 10, it has to do with making you feel worse.
But why do you feel that I'm better? Why would someone feel that someone else is better?
Different values. Especially in this society, in America, it's all about material goods. Your house is nicer than mine.
What if my house is not nicer?
Then you probably would be like, I don't like that guy.
No, I'm saying, what if we have equal nice houses?
I should. What if we all have the same communist drab stuff?
Okay, so let's start.
Even with that.
Forget communists. No, we don't have to have.
Or let's just keep it American. We all live in the same cookie cutter houses.
Why cookie cutter?
Or well, you said it's the same, right?
Let's say everyone gets $1 million. Build your own fucking house wherever you like it.
Mm-hmm. And you think that would solve?
I'm saying this communistic idea, right? Which I think is very Christian. If it's the early church and all the rest.
I think every ideal is great in theory.
That's what I'm saying. Let's try.
But in practice,
well, listen,
it falls apart.
We have a lot of history behind us, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have thousands of years of written history. I mean, starting with the Bible, starting with the earliest lessons in that have not. There's never been a stop from the stories of the creation of the world and Noah and Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
So far as we know, there was never a period where it didn't exist. It went on up until today. So it's not like just some ancient thing you dig up. So we have so much history, and we can learn from the past and see why they went wrong the way they went wrong. I'm saying, why not shoot for the ideals instead of shooting for some kind of compromise or make it a little less worse?
No, you're right. We should strive to get to the ideal. The problem is, we're selfish. Look at it like this. You've ever been around a 2-year-old? They want what they want. It's mine. Right. The 2 words they know the best is mine and no. That's it. Mine and no.
Mm-hmm.
We're not that much different. We're a little older. We can verbalize and make it sound great, but
second.
basically we're all not mine and
I'm
no.
sorry. I have to stand up for 2-year-olds. 2-year-olds have so little power. They just discovered that they have any power at all. They don't know what they're doing, and they have very, very little power. Let them say mine. Let them say no. Listen, obviously, people are going to act out of any age, whether they're 2 or 200. They're going to act out if things are shittier for them than for the people around them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying equality doesn't mean the sameness. Equality is not sameness, nor do we have to have anything that remotely, we're not talking angels on the head of a pin, like exact equality.
Mm-hmm.
Just something approximating equality.
Good, not equanimity. Or you get what you get whether you worked hard or not, whether you actually put in the effort or not.
Something like that.
Because people have been on jobs, most of us have been on jobs, or even in school, where this person is putting in more of an effort than this one. You've been on a team, a football team, basketball team, baseball team, whatever. This person actually is putting more of an effort. I'm not talking about talent now.
So
effort.
I hear you. So, okay.
Mhm.
Like the communists had a line, from each according to their abilities, to each according to their needs, right?
Right.
So what if you think someone's cheating and he's not putting in all his abilities?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
The guy's cheating in any
There's
system.
gotta be a
I'm saying even in
Exactly.
in any system. You can have... So what do you do about cheaters in any system? Whatever, the way you deal with any criminal problem, I guess.
That's a whole other hornet's nest. Because now...
But not really. But also, my point is that these days we don't have to put anything in. My point is that these days, the technology that we have is sufficient to satisfy everybody with a modicum of effort on our part. I think the average person would only have to put in a few hours of required stuff. Otherwise, here, I'll reset in 15 minutes. All right. Okay. So what I'm saying is, that I think there's very, very little forced effort. Forced? What does forced even mean? No one's going at gunpoint. Maybe you'll get an extra, less $100 a month. I don't know what it is, but something, humane. Our society would have to be obviously humane is the point. But essentially, we have the ability now to give everyone their basic needs without a problem. Our only problem as a society is our Malthusian problem. We're concerned about too many people. If people live a little bit too long, if people have too much free time, if we don't put them to work, if we don't get them, mesmerized as a small child, that they have to listen to the teacher and have to pass a test and have to work, and if we don't enslave them when they're very, very, very tiny, they could cause trouble. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, there is enough to take care of everybody's basic needs. Mm-hmm. And then if you wish to engage in capitalistic endeavors, sure, it's a free world. Go ahead and engage in capitalistic endeavors. You can never touch this. This is sacrosanct. The fact that everyone gets all their basic needs, this is sacrosanct. It is the Constitution.
And who would you trust to be in charge of making sure that the bare minimum standard is being met?
You mean who's going to run the government?
Yeah, who's gonna run the machine? The government, whatever we decide to call it.
I mean, are you just trying to shoot down every idea? I can't.
No, I'm really not.
I mean, you can ask, how will their chairs float in space? I don't know the answer. We'll get to that. We'll deal with that when we get there.